Welcome back to an all-new segment of Talk Sunday. I'm your host, Dr. Sene, and this video is about a interesting and also a very grave and serious issue about a social problem. Remember to give me a like and please subscribe if you enjoy the video. Do it now. Thank you. Let's get into the story. Guys, the issue I'm talking about today is about how custody battles end up tragically. Some of the most heart-wrenching stories we hear are about sociopaths embroiled in a custody battle with an ex-spouse. There are parents who love their kids and want to share the kids in a reasonable way, fair to all. There are also violent men and women who could be enraged by the thought that the court could take away his or her possessions, and they would like to make it all about themselves. The part of such person's brain that would allow him or her to feel love is damaged, and these people live only with hate. According to my research, the second and even the more compelling reason by a hate-filled individual to fight for custody is that, as a sociopath, the person is constantly and intolerably bored. This ever-present boredom creates in this individual a huge need for stimulation and entertainment. And in this situation, you, the other parent, are the source of entertainment. The sociopathic man or woman is using the children's vulnerability to make the other parent jump. And each time you show anger or fear, you stimulate and entertain the sick and dangerous person. And worse, you make the abuser feel powerful and in control. Recently, we heard of 55-year-old psychologist Michele Boudreau Deegan, who was found dead alongside 7-year-old Mary Annalise Deegan and her twin Katie Elizabeth Deegan in Sudden Valley, Washington State. Michele had shot her two 7-year-old daughters before taking her own life because she feared her former partner, a violent man, would get custody of her children. Guys, is murdering the two kids the only solution she could think of to keep them safe from a violent parent? I don't know, guys, what's going on in our world. The killer mom was described as deeply troubled by a former friend. In a Facebook post, one of her friends wrote, "Michele was a wonderful woman. She had to have been trying in an absolutely sick and unimaginably twisted way, obviously, to protect the girls from a life with their dad without her." Her friend also says that Michele was a kind and warm friend, bright and empathetic, a psychologist with a local practice that helped so many people, including me and my daughter. Her words. The friend said Deegan had been caught up in a horrific custody battle with a man she had domestic violence protection orders against. Her friend also wrote, every time she believed her divorce was almost final, she would be dragged into a new, frivolous and expensive renegotiation. She had been bankrupted by litigation, right or wrong. She worried for her girls with their dad. The sad irony is not lost on me. This was a mental health tragedy. She's not a terrible person. These are the friends who knew her. I don't know what to say, guys. We got to remember that she was their mother, the go-to person for love and security. Is that all she had to offer her two kids? A mother is an epitome of love, not the person who would ever harm her kids, let alone shoot them to death. Twisted, mental illness. I don't know, guys. The very violent spouse who continuously dragged her to court, pushed her to a limit, and she lost all control. I don't know. Frightening? Yes, this is our world, guys. Now I'm bringing you a shocking story from Australia, where a sociopath father killed his kids and his ex, the kids' mother, by burning them alive. This heart-wrenching, shocking story took place in Queensland in 2019, in the quiet Brisbane suburb of Camp Hill, Australia, making the whole country overwhelmingly sickened with horror at this unspeakable act of pure sadism. The evil man, Rowan Baxter, burnt his 3 babies to death as he was supposedly stressed due to custody battles. Can you believe this? The idea of a parent killing their own children, especially in such a calculated, violent way, is incomprehensible almost to anyone. This sociopath father, Rowan Baxter, killed Alia, 6, her sister Liana, 4, and their baby brother Trey, 3, as he burnt them alive in their mum's car, set alight by him, as their mother, Hannah Baxter, was trying to take them to school. By this time, she had escaped this violent monster and taken her kids to live with her parents. Hannah survived the inferno that erupted after the 42-year-old demonic sick Baxter poured petrol onto her car and set it alight with the kids and herself in the car. Can you believe this, guys? Hannah too died later in hospital from her terrible injuries. Sociopath Rowan Baxter also made it a more dramatic ending and made it all about himself, as he killed himself at the scene by stabbing himself. The whole community in Australia was horrified. They cried, they moaned. They called Baxter names that I can't even mention here, guys. That is, except for a small and deeply warped subset of the community that believes nasty custody battles, the family court, and a system that favors mothers over fathers can drive men to snap and kill their children. Guys, I actually saw this comment written somewhere, and I'm asking you, are these weirdos actually condoning the killings? Well, guys, I'm leaving that up to you to try and understand the sick logistics that some people bring up, trying to find an excuse for this man who burnt alive his 3 kids and his ex-wife. The following comment I saw on a website after these killings turned my stomach. Guys, I had nightmares after reading this. I'm warning you. Here we go. He did what he had to do to be with his children. That's what separations produce, a desperate parent and a winning parent. He decided he couldn't live without his kids. That's a committed parent. Good for him. This comment is so warped and demented and frightening that it will haunt you for days. I warned you, guys. Here are a few other comments that appeared on all kinds of news sites on this tragedy. This is what happens when women try to take the children from the men after divorce. The system failed this loving father. Loving father who burns his kids alive? Oh my God! The idea of a parent killing their own children, especially in such a violent, calculated, terrible way, is justified? It's very disturbing to think that these sick people who write these comments with unhinged views are all at large living amongst us and are kind of let loose on society and are roaming the streets. Don't you think? Another comment looking to justify Baxter's murders by burning his 3 little kids along with their mother said, "The system kills innocent lives yet again." And guys, I'm telling you, the system had not even been involved in this family's case in the first place. I read that there were no parenting orders or proceedings before the family court at all. The fact that this psychotic maniac burnt his babies to death is all the evidence in the world anyone needs to understand that this mother, Hannah, was right to do whatever she could do to keep her children away from him and keep them safe from the danger he posed. She must have known what a deranged, maniacal sicko he could be. Men like the reprehensible, violent monster, Rowan Baxter, kill non-custodian children as an act of spousal revenge and to further assert their control over an ex-partner. Nothing excuses it. Do you agree, guys? My belief is nothing pushes them. No one backs them into a corner. No one forces them to do what they do. They do it all by themselves. That's what I believe, guys. Hannah's parents, the children's grandparents, had exhausted themselves doing all they could do to try and help Hannah escape this monster in the days and weeks leading up to this final terrible moment. She came home to her parents with the kids to keep them safe from Rowan Baxter. He was not a man who was desperate to be reunited with his children because a mother took them away without a reason. This was a violent, sociopathic man who drove a woman to flee with her children in an effort to keep them safe. I believe that the family court system and the system may be far from perfect, but the system did not fail Rowan Baxter. Baxter failed his kids. He failed the mother of his children. He failed his family. He failed humanity. He failed himself. Rowan Baxter is the only failure here. That's it, guys. Stay tuned. If anyone you know is stressed, going through a bitter custody battle, please advise them to talk to their GP, who will counsel them and direct them to places where they can reach out for further assistance. This is very important. Bye for now, guys. See you soon with more intriguing tales of our world. Take care and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to support the channel. Do it now. Thank you. Good night.